Morning, everybody. David Shapiro here with a state of the industry video. It's a second one in my new series where I just kind of help you keep your finger on the pulse of the industry of AI broadly, but right now transformer space such as image generation and natural language processing. First, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping though. So, as you may or may not know, I am set up on Patreon. So before we get started, if you would consider hopping over to my Patreon, it's patreon.com/Dave Shap, and consider supporting me here. I love what I do, and if you help support me, maybe one day I can do this full time. Who knows? Anyways, another thing that I wanted to do is do just a tiny bit of self-disclosure and raise awareness. So I'm on the spectrum, which whenever I tell people, no one is surprised. I guess I'm that weird. It's pretty transparent. Anyways, I wanted to share two books. I've talked about them before, Unmasking Autism and The Pattern Seekers. So basically, I didn't know that I was autistic, and I discovered it in my mid-30s, like a lot of people do, I discovered. I did what many people do, which is go down YouTube rabbit holes, find other autistic content creators, and listen to their stories. But what I will say is that these books were really helpful. So Devin Price, Unmasking Autism. This really expanded my understanding of how autism presents in different people, and you realize that autism is way more common than you think. And then the other one is the Pattern Seekers, which is kind of the more conventional definition of autism, where it's like you've got the genius inventor kind of model, which is Simon's primary thing. So take that part with a grain of salt. But one thing that I learned from this book is that of all the genes identified that are associated with autism, the vast majority of them are common variants. It's just a matter of if you've got 100 of these variants versus 200 versus 50. So it's not even like a mutation. It's just random recombination of common genes. Okay, so with all that said, housekeeping out of the way. Subreddits are starting to ban AI art. I've seen there's been a lot of consternation on Twitter about AI art. Obviously, you get the stable diffusion hashtag and you see plenty of stuff. I love it. But the big concern is what's in the training data. And you see that unstable diffusion has been banned. So unstable diffusion was about all the weird, cringy, violent, or sexual generations from stable diffusion. Reddit just flat out banned it. And then I checked on Twitter, and Twitter has actually purged most unstable diffusion tags. Look at this. This is crazy. There's only like less than a dozen unstable diffusion tags. So it's pretty normal for there to be backlash against anything that changes. Like people were grumpy about radio and other things. So like you see stable diffusion is alive and well. But there's backlash. So I heard a rumor that ArtStation was going to start banning AI art. And again, it's mostly for concern for the artists and copyright law. So this has yet to be litigated in the courts. If you do a quick search, there is like what it looks like is that at present it's not possible to copyright AI generated art. There's a little bit of legal precedent for that. I don't know if it's going to stand up. So again, it's going to be litigated. However, so here's the thing. A lot of folks, so you look at the reason that unstable diffusion was banned so quickly. There was a great video, I think it was on Nebula. If I find it, I'll put a link in the comments. Speaking of, y'all need to behave because I turned off my comments, and my life got better. Because the paradox of becoming more popular is that there's more trolls and more people who just want to argue. Look, I've been on the internet for a long time. I've been on plenty of debate forums. I got it out of my system. You do not want to debate me. I am better at it than you. So if you get grumpy at me, I just block you, right? I don't have any time for debate. It's a waste of time and mental energy. Anyways, okay, so rewinding. Where was I? So anyways, there's always backlash against these new technologies and new changes. Oh, here's another Stable Diffusion video. These are great. Like, why would people want to ban this entirely new art form? Now, that being said, there is a legitimate concern for copyright law, existing artists, so on and so forth. But this is a whole new space, right? Like, you can't put this genie back in the bottle. There are also countless examples throughout history of when new technologies cause a lot of pain and grumpiness. So the VCR, which is now an outmoded technology, video copying and recording, the VHS players and recorders, though they tried to ban those because it was too easy to record broadcasts from what am I trying to say? Blah, sorry. Like radio broadcasts or TV broadcasts, but also to copy other movies and stuff. And so, but did that work? No. They said like the VCR itself is a neutral technology. It's if you use it, that's why all the videos, if you're old enough to remember, the FBI warning of doom at the beginning of every VHS video, which is, it is illegal to make copies of this. So they reminded you all the time. And so technologies are generally neutral. What they do is they ban certain behaviors, right? And so the reason that unstable diffusion was banned, this is the surprising part, is actually credit card companies. So credit card companies stand behind all internet transactions, basically, whether it's a for-profit site, like it's, you're selling something, or if it's an ad revenue site. The payment processors stand behind all of that. And if the payment processors see like child porn or other illegal content, that they will say, "Hey, you need to take that down." And so it's not even legally required, but the payment processors, they don't want anything to tarnish their reputation. Great documentary. I'll post it on the comments if I find it. I'm pretty sure it was on Nebula. Anyways, so you have this braking mechanism, right? So there's gas and brakes. The people that are standing on the gas, like me, are just like, let's go, go, go. Let's find new stuff. Let's do, like, take off the gloves. Let's go. Let's explore. But then there's brakes, right? There's people talking about AI ethics. There's legislation. There are the payment processors. So there's all kinds of braking mechanisms. And this pattern has existed throughout history. You go back in time to the French Revolution, the progressives were the ones that were saying abolish the monarchy, and the conservatives were saying, maybe reinstate the monarchy. This is a pattern that has existed throughout all of human history, where you've got one group of people that want change and another group of people that fight change. That is just human nature, and that is the process working out. It's the pendulum swinging back and forth. You see it in politics today. You see it in technology today. It's normal. So I'm not worried about it. We'll figure it out. Okay, so moving on. I wanted to also introduce you to Lexica. So Lexica was, I think someone on the Discord posted this. Basically, it's a search engine where you can find Stable Diffusion and Midjourney, or just AI art generations, and then the prompts used to create them. Wow, these are disturbing. I haven't scrolled down that far yet. Anyways, so yeah, if you want to get better, like, practice, right? But this is like, I think it said it's got 5 million Stable Diffusion images and their text prompts. One thing that about Stable Diffusion, though, is that there's a lot of parameters you can plug in. But, I mentioned a minute ago, like, you can't put this genie back in the bottle. The weights are out. The model is out. People are getting better at making these models. So, like, you can legislate against it, but it's going to be there. Like, it's just a matter of how do you manage the chaos. So yeah, Lexica, it's pretty cool. I think it's free. Yeah, so you just search, and there you have it. There's a lot of skin. It's all art though, and I don't see any like actual like straight up nudity or porn. But yeah, so there's, oops, I didn't mean to close that. Come on. Okay, Lexica. Oh yeah, so another thing to introduce. This popped up in my Twitter feed, and I regret that I just went to a conference, so I'm not going to be able to go to another one. But TransformX is coming up at the end of the month. So TransformX is hosted by Scale AI, and there are a lot of speakers. So you've got people from Meta, Google, Cohere. Let's see, there's Google, Waymo, OpenAI. So you've got people from all the big players speaking and attending TransformX. I didn't know about it. I just found out about it because I just got on Twitter and I follow all the AI people. So IBM, OpenSea, Scale AI, U.com. I'm not familiar with that. Let's see, Berkeley AI Lab. Yeah, so you got all kinds of people that are going to be there. So I don't know if you can. It looks like it's in person only. Yeah, it's going to be in San Francisco, of course. That's where I just was. Yeah, so, and then last but not least, so I definitely recommend you check out scale.com events / TransformX. I will be probably following the hashtag, whatever they do. Okay, so last, I introduced Forefront AI before. So Forefront is a small and growing NLP company. You can get on their Discord. And the founder he's a great guy. He will answer questions. It's still small enough that you can interact with basically the whole team. So another group that is a little bit more larger is Nlp Cloud. So a lot of the folks on my Discord, well, it's no longer mine, but I just say my Discord. It's the Cognitive AI Lab Discord. Love Nlp Cloud. So Nlp Cloud, it's ready to go. They've got a lot of models. Let's see, if you scroll down, like you've got all kinds of use cases ready to go. Their documentation is definitely up to snuff. You can fine tune and train your own models. They've got GPU backing. They've got multilingual support. So like, this is good to go. So if you want to get more into NLP, but you don't want to pay, or you don't want to get locked in with proprietary closed source models, I also recommend you check out Nlp Cloud. Also, I know that a couple weeks ago I said that I was switching to all open source, and then literally later that day, OpenAI cut their price by 2/3. So it went from 6 cents per 1,000 tokens to 2 cents per 1,000 tokens. So there is definitely an arms race going on. But yeah, I think that's about it for the state of the industry today, this morning. Again, check out my Patreon. Consider supporting me there. Keep an eye out for AI art getting banned or that conversation advancing. It seems like there is the backlash. Don't threaten artists. Apparently, some AI artists are getting death threats online. I mean, I know that's what the internet does, but that doesn't mean it's okay. So just don't do that. And then there's Lexica, the search engine for AI art prompts. So again, like, there's opportunity here. You know, like, personally, I think that all the art places like DeviantArt and ArtStation and stuff, they should embrace it, because otherwise they're going to get left behind. But who knows? It'll shake out how it shakes out. And then there's TransformX on October 19th. So that's 9 days from now, actually. And then finally, I wanted to introduce you to Nlp Cloud. One of the models that Nlp Cloud has is actually a Instruct fine-tuned GPT Neo X. I haven't used it yet, but some of the folks on the Discord swear by it. They say that it performs just as well as OpenAI's GPT-3 Instruct series models. But it's open source. That's trained on Allen AI's Instruct series, I believe. So anyways, there you have it. Thanks for watching. This has been my second State of the Industry address. So thanks for watching, and check you next time.